Members of the squad face down controversy and criminal charges. The FBI gets caught red-handed in the case of the J6 pipe bomb. And Joe Biden makes a surprising admission about the southern border. Hello, I'm Mike Huckabee, and this is the February 1st edition of The Breakdown. A quick reminder to subscribe to the channel below and click the notification bell if you haven't already. Be sure to click the like button if you enjoy this video. Far-left Missouri Democrat representative and squad member Cori Bush is under criminal investigation by the DOJ for alleged misuse of taxpayer funds for her private security. She's also facing probes by the FEC as well as the House Ethics Committee over the same issue, which reportedly involves misuse of campaign funds for private security. Cori Bush has reportedly spent over $750,000 on private security in less than 2 terms. By the way, that includes $62,000 to her bodyguard, now husband, who isn't licensed to provide security services in Missouri. She denied wrongdoing, claimed she was cooperating fully. And naturally, she blamed it all on a right-wing conspiracy against her. And we all know just how the Biden DOJ is part of the right-wing conspiracy that loves to take down Democrat politicians. What makes this especially galling, or satisfying, depending on your point of view, is that Cori Bush was one of the loudest voices pushing the defund the police idiocy. But she insists that she has received threats and has too much work to do. Therefore, she deserves the protection of security officers, private ones, that she pays for out of taxpayer funds.
You can't get that off. I'm going to make sure I have security because I know I have had attempts on my life and I have too much work to do. There are too many people that need help right now for me to allow that. So if I end up spending $200,000, if I spend $10 more on it, you know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police and put that money into social safety nets because we're trying to save lives.
I'll bet some of her constituents feel a little more threatened than her just leaving their houses, but good luck finding a cop to accompany them to work where I'm sure they do something of greater value to America than the work she does, no matter what they do. Here are some responses to the news and to Cori Bush's response to it. I especially like Matt Gaetz' comment. He said, quote, "Call me old-fashioned, but I think husbands should protect their wives for free." And by the way, this whack job Cori Bush was joined by another useful idiot of hate, her colleague Rashida Tlaib, Congresswoman from Michigan, as they both voted against a bill that bans Hamas terrorists from coming to the U.S. If these two hate-filled lunatics were allowed to stay in their taxpayer-funded positions, I want George Santos back. And if there were any doubts as to how ubiquitous the absolute degeneracy of the squad is, Cori Bush's fellow squad member, Representative Ilhan Omar, recently made a shocking speech where she seemed to declare that she was in Congress to represent the interests of Somalia, not America.
dad badan ay soo wacay oo waxay leeyihiin ilhaan dawladda Mareykanka inaan la hadashid waaye dawladda Mareykanka maxay ka qabanaysaa jawaabteedu waxay ahayd dawladda Mareykanka waxay ka qabanaysaa wixii annaga aan dhahno dawladda Mareykanka qabo waa kalsoonidaas inaan isku qabno annaga Soomaali hadii aan nahay wadankan annaga ku nool wadankan wadankii aan annaga.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis had the appropriate response and called for her to be expelled from the House, denaturalized, and then deported back to Somalia. My question, what would we have to give Somalia to get them to take the rest of the squad as well? If necessary, I'd be happy to start a GoFundMe page for that purpose. Speaking of our corrupt government, an FBI agent turned whistleblower, Kyle Seraphin, said that the FBI had quickly tied the supposed January 6 pipe bomber to a Metro fare card and a license plate, but the agency did not allow him to interview the person of interest and even pulled his team off of that lead. Now, this comes from a report by investigative journalist Luke Rosiak at the Daily Wire. You may remember that Luke Rosiak is the same journalist who back in 2021 broke the story about the Loudoun County, Virginia schools covering up a sexual assault by a trans-identifying student, a story which drastically affected the Virginia gubernatorial race between Glenn Youngkin and Terry McAuliffe. Rosiak reports that agents had used security camera video along the bomber's route to track him to the metro station, They were able to identify the Metro fare card that he used, and from the fare card, they determined the stop in Northern Virginia where he got off, and there, surveillance footage in the parking lot showed him getting into a car. Now, this is just the investigative scenario one would think would have taken place given the abundance of video cameras everywhere. The fare card and the license plate were both in the name of the same person, a retired Air Force Chief Master Sergeant who is now working as a contractor with a security clearance. Intriguing. Serafin and his team were assigned to surveil the home of this highly specific lead for days, but incredibly, they were blocked from interviewing him. As Rosiak reports, Serafin said that they were called off the target completely and told, instead, pour through low-priority leads about the minor January 6 participants. And in border news, President Biden finally admitted the border was not secure. But in typical Biden fashion, he went on to claim, I haven't believed it for the past 10 years, and I've said it for the past 10 years. Give me the money. While I do believe that he spent the last 10 years saying, give me the money, I don't believe he spent that time complaining about the border not being secure. I already posted a list of all the actions that Joe Biden took on day one of his term to destroy border security. And he doesn't need a lot of money or new powers from Congress. All he needs to do is to rescind the executive orders that he, Joe Biden, issued, the ones that reversed Donald Trump's border policies, which, by the way, were working. But just to hammer it home hard, Fox News put together a compilation of some of the many, many times that Biden and his top officials insisted that the border was secure and that we should all believe them instead of our lying eyes.
Do y'all feel that the border is secure, sir?
No, it's not. I haven't believed it for the last 10 years.
We agree that the border is secure, but there is still more work to be done.
And we have a process in place to manage migrants at the border. We're working to make sure it's safe and orderly and humane.
The border is secure. The border, we are working to make the border more secure.
Well, thanks to California Democrat Representative Robert Garcia for our inadvertent laugh of the day.
Donald Trump actually has said that he wants to build alligator moats along the border. That's one of his incredible ideas. Another idea that Donald Trump has promoted is he actually wants to electrify the border fence and maybe even put some spikes on the border. That's another Donald Trump and MAGA majority border idea. Another idea, which I'm not sure how well it would go, is he wants to actually bomb northern Mexico with missiles. That's another Trump idea. And finally, I think one of the ones that I think is the most grotesque is suggestions that instead we should maybe just shoot migrants in the legs as they cross the border.
I'm amazed that he failed to claim that we wanted to put heads on the spikes or equip the alligators with, quote, frickin' laser beams.
Frickin' laser beam!
Judging from some of the hilarious responses, Garcia's over-the-top hysteria not only gave us some much-needed laughter, but he may have done more than the RNC to turn out the vote for Trump. And for that, Congressman, I thank you. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. Be sure to click the notification bell below. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to tune in tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Central for the Live with Mike live stream. We'll cover more of the week's news and answer a bunch of your questions. We'll do it live. And if you want more of my news analysis and commentary, sign up for my newsletter at MikeHuckabee.com. It's free. That's going to do it for this edition of The Breakdown. I'm Mike Huckabee.